So hi everybody, welcome to, this is our first call of December. 2016 is like at our door, guys. This is like, or 2017 is at our door. 2016 is like on the way out. That's pretty crazy. I mean, this year has flown by. You know, God, I feel like at the beginning of every month, I'm always like, oh my God, I can't believe it's this month. Like 2016 really has just flown by. And a lot of the calls this month, I feel like are going to be, always have this like surrounding like ambiance of talking about like how to really kick butt, you know, for the rest of the month and then get started for the rest of, or for the beginning of 2017. So a lot of stuff I'm going to be talking about tonight will kind of have that in it. I have a lot of stuff to talk about, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be like, it's just like I have a lot of notes, but I feel like I'm going to kind of like breeze through them because a lot of it is me asking you guys to ask yourself a question to figure out what you need to focus on. Because I feel like from talking to a lot of coaches, some coaches are just focused on too much stuff. They're like, I feel like I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. I'm like, well, are you doing this right now? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, you don't even need to worry about that till you do this. So we're going to kind of talk about that. But so before I get a team call, I know there's some people that aren't necessarily like on my team or in the team page. So, cause I know that I'm posting in the business builders page. So usually in the beginning of the call, when I'll talk about all the housekeeping stuff, some of that stuff might not necessarily like apply to you. I mean, not that I'm like, you're not included, you can't listen, but just in case you're like kind of confused, that's why. So Clean Eating Group as always starts this Monday. If you have not posted about it, make sure that you do. If you have not invited to it yet, make sure you do. And this is something I'm going to talk about later on in the call. But if you, at the end of the month, are always struggling to hit Success Club and you're like, maybe you get it with my push group and, you know, you're like, oh, I want to take on the challenges so I can try to hit Success Club. But you're just like, I don't even have the people to invite. That's where your problem is because you don't get people into the Clean Eating Group. I said it, I think I said it last week and I've said it a million times. I honestly almost never invite someone to a challenge group unless they were in my Clean Eating Group first. Yeah, I don't ever really send challenge group invites to someone unless they're in my Clean Eating Group invite. And I sent 68 Clean Eating Group invites today. 68. That's a lot. That's probably the most I ever sent. But I sent 68. And now I have like 75 million messages. I'm like trying to get back to everybody. But this Clean Eating Group is going to be holiday themed. For those of you who are running your own, if you want to have a holiday themed, message me. I can send you the links for everything. I'm having my assistant create the meal plan, I created the meal plans, but I'm having her create the calendars and everything with that. So it looks nicer than just like in a Word document. But if you want that, let me know so you can use it for, it's the same kind of Clean Eating Group, like in the sense of how we run it with like, you know, the nightly recaps and all that stuff. I'm probably going to change the graphics to make them look a little bit more holiday themed, take a little bit extra time, but I feel like that those little things are just cute. They go a long way. It's going to keep people engaged. So just let me know if you're running your own Clean Eating Group, you're running it with another coach, let me know. I'll send you that stuff your way. If you're a new coach, you're more than welcome, obviously, to be in my Clean Eating Groups. I always want you to be in two anyway before you start your own. So I talked about this in a video when I went live in the team page, but I wanted to talk about it now on Team Call. I am not running a challenge group this month. This is the first time ever I'm not running a challenge group. I am running one that starts on the 2nd, so people can still, like if you're a new coach, because if you're doing things on your own and you're running your own group, that's fine. But you can still hit Success Club regardless of whether the group is in this month or not, because it's going to start on the 2nd and people need to order before that anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to advertise it as such and invite as such as a back-to-back, like double, I don't even know what I want to call it, but I guess like back-to-back challenge group. And it's going to be pre-New Year's Eve and post-New Year's Eve. Because this month we have like 4 different programs that have kickstarts. We have 21 Day Fix, 21 Day Fix Extreme, Core de Force, and Country Heat. All 4 of them have a kickstart in them, which if you're a newer coach, what a kickstart is, it just comes with a 3-day refresh, the workout program, and Shakeology. So what I want to do with the kickstart is I'm still going to let people in if they don't want to get the kickstart, but I'm going to try to make it so most of the people that are in it are a part of both groups. So I'm going to run a 3-day refresh group 3 days before New Year's Eve. So it's going to be the 27th, 28th, 29th. And I'm going to add everybody on the 23rd because I usually would only add them 3 days before, which would be the 24th. I don't want to add them on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to add everybody on the 23rd. So I'm going to have them, go into New Year's Eve with the 3-day refresh to get them ready, get them started. Because when somebody buys a Kickstart, the point of a Kickstart is to get them kick-started into their program. So they're supposed to do it beforehand. I mean, they can always save it if they want, but I'm going to have people get the Kickstart, let them know that that's available. And then if they get it, they're going to get access to both groups. They're going to be in the Facebook group, which will be the 3-day refresh group. If you're interested in doing this and you're running your own groups, let me know. I'll give you you can look through my old 3-day refresh group. The last one I had was really successful, and there was only 4 people and everybody participated. So that was really cool. And I went live every day, and it was only 5 days because it was 2 days of prep, 3 days of the group. But I went live in it every day, and it was just really successful. So I'm going to have people in the 3-day refresh group, and then you're going to, right after New Year's, you'll have the 30th, 31st, and 1st. I'll add everybody, that Saturday, and then we'll start prep week on the 2nd. So, but it'll be everybody who gets it will be in that back-to-back group. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's not technically going to start in December. If you want to run your own group, you can totally do that. Don't feel like, and if you're maybe a newer coach and you want to run a group, please do not feel like you have to run your group on your own. Pair up with another coach. Pair up with 2 or 3 or 4 coaches. And with that said, if you guys didn't see, please make sure you check out my new updated challenge group guide that's in the team page. It's how I run my challenge groups now. I feel like they've gotten way better. Okay, I don't know what happened. I was like, I just yelled at Pat. I was like, did you just break the internet? Anyway, what I was saying was, the guide is in there. You can check over everything. I'm not even going to go over any of it at all because the information is all in there. But all of that stuff is in there. I highly suggest you don't have to use everything, but look over it and see what ideas you like. And what I'm going to start to do that I had a really long call with my success partner today, and we talked about different ideas that she's kind of revamping her business with. And she's doing like a lot of stuff. Like she's no longer doing team calls. She's only doing 1 team call a month because she feels like, people aren't getting enough out of team calls, or it's a time waster, or only some people are. So she's like doing all this stuff. I don't know what I want to do with it yet, but I do think that I want to kind of change things up. I don't know what. What I am going to do, which I was doing a while ago, but I stopped, is doing the new coach leader call, but I'm going to do it 2 times a month because a lot of coaches, newer coaches, are going to add coaches, but they're not going to feel comfortable enough doing a one-on-one. So what I kind of want to do is basically do like what I do for my GSR calls when I have like a new call with a new coach, which is go over the welcome questions in the email, talk about anything that they're struggling with, and then go over my 5th vital behavior, which is just building your contact list and that whole thing. But the reason why I'm going to do that is because, 1, I'm not going to necessarily go over the questions, more so ask specific ones, and then have each coach kind of share a little bit about them. So then new coaches, since it's kind of like a new class, can bond with each other. It's like, hey, I'm a new coach, instead of just being like, oh, I'm scared. There's like 5 other people that are like Emerald and they're hitting Success Club and I don't even know what any of that is. So I'm going to try to get the new coaches to bond. So if you're not comfortable with having one-on-ones with your coaches, or your coaches aren't, they will be more than welcome to hop on this call. I think I'm going to do it on the 1st and 15th, but that will start in January. But I plan on figuring all that stuff out. I just wanted to kind of bring that up now. So I am sweating. It is really hot. I need to open up my window really quick. Okay, I'm like dying. All right, so what I'm really going to be talking about, this is kind of stuff that I've talked about before, but it kind of just like ties into all of it. So, and again, if you're somebody who's like, I do all of this stuff, just make sure you're writing this stuff down in order to teach your coaches that. Because if you're already killing it doing all of this stuff, remember that as you're building your team, it's no longer just about you, especially if you're killing it. You're probably doing a great job. Then you need to think of things to teach your coaches. So it's a new month. New month just comes with planning, just as all of 2017 will. So ask yourself, how many of you guys on this call, if you're watching the recording, do you have your month planned out? You guys know I share my own calendar, which as new coaches, I want you guys to follow. Or if you're, maybe a coach running stuff on your own, I still suggest you kind of follow that. You don't have to. But even if you don't follow that exact thing, if you start the month and you're somebody who's working the business, you want to be successful, you want to hit Success Club, you want to either make money or do this full time, and you don't have your month planned out, like in the sense of when your clean eating group is, like that needs to happen day one. Like as soon as the first comes, like we all know, like, you know, at the end of the month, we push for Success Club, but it should be the same thing. On the first of the month, you should have your calendar planned out to a T when your challenge group is if you're having a 3-day refresh group, if you're having a clean eating group, but all of that stuff, I mean, you should be having a clean eating group. All of that stuff needs to be planned out. Because it just helps you plan out your invites. Like I was talking about with the clean eating group. So many times I hear coaches say, I'll put them in the, you know, the push group for Success Club, or I just hear it all in general. I want to, you know, invite more people. I just don't have enough people to invite. And a lot of times it's because you guys aren't putting people in a clean eating group. If you're not, the most invites you should send in a month should be to a clean eating group. And if you're not either holding a clean eating group or putting people in my clean eating group, that is where you're failing. I'm just being straight up honest. If you're struggling with anything else, it's because you're not doing that stuff. Because for me, like I said, I don't ever invite people to a clean eating group or invite people to a challenge group unless I invite them to a clean eating group first. I sometimes do, but I rarely do. But it makes it so easy. So I invited 68 people to my cleaning group. I can guarantee you I'll get maybe 20 to 25 people in the clean eating group. Not everybody is going to say yes. People are probably not even going to respond to me. But if I get those 20 to 25 people in there, they're all going to get a challenge group invite, which means I'll probably get at least 5 of them in a challenge group. Hopefully more, but we'll see. But because I invite so many people, the number goes down as you add people, as you go down the list. You know, as you invite them, people who say yes, people who are in the group, and then, you know, people who actually say yes. So the more people, and you don't have to invite 68 people. I mean, you can, but I would really try to invite at least 30 people to a clean eating group. Because in theory, you know, you want to hit Success Club, want to help 3 people. Every 10 people you talk to, you're going to hear 9 no's, you're going to get 1 yes. So talking to 30 people and trying to get them in there, because it's not going to count the coach invites and all that other stuff. But if you're not holding a clean eating group or inviting people in there, or if you're letting the month go by and it's halfway through and then you're like, oh, I got to invite you to a challenge group, that's where you're failing yourself. That's just what I personally feel like. I feel like if more coaches just got people into their clean eating group and, you know, invited, and not just, I had a coach message me today and they said, I feel like I'm doing everything. I'm posting my workouts. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I just can't get people interested. This business is not about just, it is about that, but it's not about just getting people interested. It is about you reaching out to them. If you are not sending invites and you think this business is just about posting on social media and that's what's going to get people started, and it's okay, I'm not like making fun of you if you feel that way, but new coaches think that way. They think that this business is, if I post on social media, I should get a lot of interest. I have 11.3 thousand followers on Instagram. I posted my clean eating group this morning and I had 4 people message me on Instagram. That's it. And that's after doing this for a while. In the beginning of my business, I had nobody message me. And sometimes even now, I can post a post and no one will message me. So you have to be doing that. I know I'm being a dead horse, but like I constantly see people say, I don't have enough people to invite. And if you just spend the time, that's why my whole process talks about building relationships with people. If I spent a ton of time building relationships with people in November. So guess what? I was able to invite 68 people to my clean eating group, which is going to guarantee me that I'll probably hit Success Club 10. So what else? So planning your posts. This month is probably going to be really busy for a lot of you guys. You're going to be going, you know, to holiday. I know I have like 5, actually I think 6 different holiday parties I'm going to from between like this weekend and New Year's Eve. So I know I'm going to be super busy. So if like obviously just posting like your food and stuff like that, that's important. But you have to plan. When I say plan your posts, because all those other posts can just kind of come naturally. I mean, you should be trying to do those, but plan your clean eating group posts. Plan when you're going to post your challenge group posts. Don't let, because I see so many coaches let like, you know, the weeks go by and they'll message me and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to post today about the challenge group. And I'm like, the challenge group starts in 3 days. Somebody's not even going to get their stuff in that time. And like, you should have posted a week and a half ago. You know what I mean? So figure out, put them in your calendar, set a reminder and say, mark a time in your calendar where you're able to go on Canva or wherever you make your graphics, create your graphic and post today. That was the first thing at the top of my to-do list this morning, was to post about my clean eating group. I didn't do anything else until I did that. I didn't answer a single email, a single message until I got that done. And when you do that, you can get that done and then do everything else. So really try to plan out the important posts. You know, if you're going to do a giveaway, if you're going to do anything like that, like plan when you're going to put them and plan them in enough time. If a challenge group starts on the 20th or the 27th, you don't want to post about it on the 24th. You need to post about it like 18th, 19th, 20th in order for people, even before that, in order for people to get their stuff. using your checklist. And this is the thing I'm going to go through, because I went through this we were talking about this with my success partner today, and I'm going to ask you guys questions I want you to ask yourself. And if any of these stick out and you're like, wait, I'm not doing that, I want you to write them down, and then I want you to focus on that for the month of December, whatever it is. Now there may be multiple things, but just listen to them. So, and when I mean use a checklist, there's probably going to be something different I'm going to be doing when it comes to one-on-ones, in the sense of, like, I have you guys fill out the form, but I'm going to change the form a little bit to, if you're just, because with the people I'm mentoring, it's a little bit different, but for the people who are just scheduling like random one-on-ones, it's going to be a lot more like, you have to fill this out if you want to have a one-on-one with me, besides the fact that you have to be at Success Club too. But so these are going to be things I'm going to ask you. Are you saying this to yourself? And then I'm going to ask you questions. So you don't have to answer, but just think about it in your head. So do you say, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z, do you say, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z, whatever it is you're struggling with, but do you do the behaviors to avoid it? So for example, I have no one to invite, but like I hear that all the time, I have no one to invite. And then I ask people, well, have you been building a contact list every week? Like I would tell you guys, that's my 5th bite of behavior, just on Saturday or Sunday, build a new contact list. So before the week starts, have people to message. And then they're like, oh no. Then that's where we stop there. You don't even move to the next step. If you're not doing that, that is the number one thing you need to be doing. Because I know for the beginning of my business for 1.5 years, I would sit at my computer and like while I was working 3 jobs and I was in nutrition school, I would like have like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and I would sit down and be like, I'm going to work my business. And I would just sit there and I would just like pick people out of like thin air, and it was frustrating. Then I would get frustrated. I'd be like, screw this, I'm not doing it. I'd walk away, and that's what happens to people. They get frustrated because they think that the business doesn't work or whatever it is that doesn't work. But if you guys just built that contact list from Facebook groups, people people on Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, your blog, wherever it was from, I don't care. Somebody like some hobo you met on the street, wherever you're building that contact list, if you have that, that's where you can kind of, work from. Another thing, are you asking yourself, my following isn't growing. I don't have a big enough following on Instagram where I feel like, I'm just staying stagnant. Do you post daily on social media, and do you use hashtags? I watch your guys' social media. I tell you that all the time. Even if you're not one of my PS coaches, I have a notification because I put you guys in Streak like I do any other like customer, Google Streak. I put you guys in there, and it just tells me to check in with my coaches. So I'll go to your guys' social media. I'll look at your hashtags, see if you're doing new things or if you are using any at all. I can't tell you how many times I go to social media and you guys aren't using any hashtags. You understand that if you have 200 followers and you post a picture, maybe 20 of those people are seeing it. And then you're wondering why no one messages you. You have got to use hashtags. Now, that doesn't mean if you put 10 hashtags on there, everybody and their mother is going to message you, but that's how people find you. Use Instagram. Yes, it is $10 a month, but it is so worth it. It really is worth it. Like it's an investment in your business. And I mean that you could stop going to Starbucks for 2 days in a month in order to afford that. Like there's lots of little tiny things that you could cut out in order to make that like things that aren't benefiting your business. You know what I mean? And I've said this before. I've been talking to a lot of people about this with one-on-ones lately, is that, and I never really talked about it before, but something that I remember doing in the beginning of my business when I wasn't making any money I wasn't like doing too much with Beachbody in like the very, very beginning, is I was still trying to find a way, and I was cutting back on different things. Like I wasn't going out to eat as much in order to invest money in my business. So I was one of those new coaches that was buying samples, like not every single month. Obviously, they were expensive, but you charge $5 a sample. We get it for $97. If you charge $5 a sample, you make back $120. You can still make back more money than you're even spending. That was one thing I did. I always tried to invest money in my business. I was doing like little trainings and trying to, getting samples, getting like, now we have the Fix8 cookbook. There's like so many little things you could do with giveaways or anything like that. With investing time, I'm kind of getting off on a tangent. And then another question with the whole, is your following, or my following isn't growing, is ask yourself, are you being a Beachbody robot? And by that, I mean, I think a lot of times, some of you guys have like super bubbly personalities and you're awesome, you're funny, like we have a one-on-one and you're great. But then when you get on social media, either you're on Snapchat or you're Facebook Live or something, you feel like you have to be a Beachbody coach. Like people are paying attention to you and you're the coach, so you have to like act like you know what's going on. If you guys notice me on Snapchat, I'm a mess. Like sometimes my hair doesn't look like I haven't washed it in like 10 days. Like I just try to be super real on social media. And I know that not everybody necessarily has the confidence to do that, because I didn't either. For the first year and a half of my business, I never even posted a selfie. And my coach beat it into me for the longest time. She was like, you need to show your face. And I didn't post my face because I didn't want anybody to see my face. Like nobody even knew who I was. I was just like this random person on social media, just like show like my toe or something, but like I wouldn't show my face. So if you're wondering like maybe why people aren't following you, or you know, that all of you guys are great people, but you have to make sure that you're being your true self, and that takes work on personal development and work on your confidence. It doesn't just, you know, magically happen, but make sure that you're aware of it. Again, each of these things I want you to write down and pay attention to. Another thing that people keep saying no to Shakeology. It's too expensive. Do you do more than just share pics of your Shakeology shaker cup on social media? Or is that all you're doing? Because again, a lot of us, you know, I did it too. A lot of coaches are just doing that. You're just sharing that. Are you sharing about what it's done for you? If it's helped your hair grow. I know all the time in the beginning of my business, I was constantly like talking about how it helped my nails grow, because my nails were just awful. They would break off, like they were just really, really short, and now I have to clip them all the time. I was sharing that, like paying attention to what Shakeology does for you, because people have heard about Shakeology 1,000 times. We're at the point where people know what Shakeology is. It's not like the secret thing. So we have to do a good job of, I always say, people don't think it's expensive. They don't see the value in it. So you have to make sure you're showing value in Shakeology. And share it on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Facebook. Go Facebook Live once a week and talk about something that you love about Shakeology. Pick a superfood. Like, do something different that other Beachbody coaches aren't doing, that other Beachbody coaches are afraid to do. Something that's going to make you stick out. Something that might make you crap your pants. You might be afraid of going Facebook Live, but just go for it. Like 2017 needs to be the year where you guys just like do something that you've been afraid to do, because if not, you're going to be stuck just like 2016, and it's going to be the end of 2017, and you're going to feel the same freaking way you did now. I'm sorry. I'm just so hyped up right now. And I'm doing this, I'm saying all this because I love you. Another thing, do you have a good little blurb that you talk about Shakeology? I've asked a few people that, like, do you have something when someone asks what Shakeology is, like, what does it say? Like last week in team call, I talked about like your explanation for what a challenge group is. When someone asks what Shakeology is, do you just say, oh, it's this superfood shake and it tastes really good and you can drink it for breakfast and it's really healthy? Like, if that's all you're saying, you gotta like make it different. Like my whole thing, I talk about how it's helped me with my PCOS. Like the important things are for you to talk about what exactly it's helped you with, because that's the biggest thing. Somebody's going to connect with that. If you're like, you know, I couldn't poop before, now I can poop, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that it helped you with, talk about those specific things. Fourth thing that I want you to ask yourself, are you saying, I hear no and get ignored all the time? Number one thing, are you spending time building relationships with people, or are you just inviting because you're being impatient? And there, with newer coaches, a lot of times we just get excited, and you know, we just want to. We know how amazing this is, and we just want to share it with the world. That we just invite someone to something, and you maybe had like a half a second conversation with them. No one's going to say yes to that. Again, the market's not saturated. Like there's 527 million people in the United States, and there's only 400,000 Beachbody coaches. Like we haven't even scratched the surface. But more people do know about Beachbody. So if you want to invite someone to something, you have to spend the time building relationships with them. And I'm not even going to get into that because you guys know I talk about it all the time, but that's, you know, Snapchatting them, commenting on their Facebook stuff, not just messaging them. It's not just all about messaging them. Messaging them is important, but it's interacting with them on more than just commenting on their Instagram. Because I feel like Snapchat is like so good to build relationships with people because it's so much more private. It's like you have their telephone number. So whatever it is, building that relationship for at least 3 weeks to a month before you're inviting someone. So that's why everybody I built relationship with from last month all got invited to my clean eating group. And I just, you know, put a bunch of new people on my contact list. None of them are going to get an invite from me this month. None of them. I'm going to interact with them. I'm going to, you know, message them about like something that I saw on their page. I'm going to Snapchat them, you know, do all of that stuff to get to know them. So then when I invite them to my clean eating group before I invite them to my challenge group in January, I'm going to be able to give them value in a free group. And then after the challenge group is over, I'm going to invite them to that. And I follow, you know, that process. So if you're hearing no a lot, ask yourself, are you following some kind of process, or are you just like randomly inviting people? Like really reevaluate and think that if you're like, I'm not, that's what I'm struggling with. Like, I feel like I am inviting too quick. Message me, message your coach. Let's talk about it. A lot of coaches are being too quiet. You're struggling with something, but you don't let your coach know. And then you get frustrated and then you walk away from the business. We are here to help you, especially me, guys. I do this full time. Like, I have no other job besides like being the mother to Ned and like feeding my boyfriend sometimes. Like, that's about it. Like, I'm here to help you. So please reach out to me if you're struggling with those things. And there's a difference between just struggling with it and not doing the work. If you're not doing the work and you're not showing up, that's different. I need you to show up and do the work. But if you're showing up and doing the work and you just have a new problem and you're figuring it out, totally reach out to me. I'm here to help. Fifth thing, I want to find coaches that want to work the business. Like, I feel like I just keep finding discount coaches. I want to find coaches that want to work the business, or you do find coaches, but they're not working the business. Ask yourself, are you being a role model? I see so many times and I do it right away. I have a coach message me and they'll be like, oh, I have like these coaches, but they're not really like that into it. Like, I really wish they were. And then I go to their social media and themselves haven't posted in 4 days. How can you expect another coach to work the business if you don't even post on social media? Just like we are a product of the product for our challengers, you have to be a product of the product of the coaching business. Your coaches, regardless of how new you are, regardless of how like minuscule you think you are, your coaches look up to you. They think you're cool. They think you're awesome. So when they don't see you, but they look to your page and they look to what you're doing and they look to see if you're involved in the team page. If you're not that involved in the team page, that's another thing that drives me nuts. I have a lot of coaches that don't ever hop on team calls. I know they're not watching the recordings. And then they're like, why isn't my coach that involved? I'm like, you're not even hopping on team calls. You're not even doing these things. And I'm not saying you have to, be on it and like miss like, your daughter's like important recital or something like that. But if you're just not hopping on team calls, you just don't feel like it, because that was me. And I can say that because I know what I was feeling. I didn't hop on team calls for a year. For a year in the beginning of my business, I said, I don't need them. Like, they just seem so silly. Like, how are they going to benefit me? Once I started hopping on them, my checks started going up. I started building my business. My coaches started to want to work. It just happens. It's more of like also the energy you give out to the universe and to your team. Even if they don't know what you're doing, it's like you guys know I'm hippy dippy. It's like a universe type of thing. What else? So, another thing. This is more so maybe for people who have like some coaches or whatever, and they're like, oh, I was Emerald and I dropped, or, I was this rank and I dropped. Is that because you were banking on just 2 coaches to keep you there? Because you only need 2 coaches to keep your Emerald. A lot of times, coaches are like, I dropped, like, I'm so upset, I dropped rank. But you can't expect, if you have 2 coaches and you expect none of them to drop for like forever, that's you banking on a 100% success rate. 100% success rate. Nothing happening, their card getting declined, and they miss out on Shakeology for a week, and there's so many things that can happen in this business. That's why it's always good to continuously add coaches to the business. A lot of times I think coaches get 2 coaches and they're like, oh, I'm good, I'm just gonna do this. You have to continuously, again, challenge your 2 coaches first, but you have to make sure that you're focusing on that. 7th thing, I can't turn challengers into coaches. I get people in a challenge group, but I can't make them want to be a coach. Do you put the time and effort into your challenge groups, or do you just schedule posts and then you're on autopilot? You don't create any new content, or you don't interact. I see that all the time where coaches create a challenge group, but they don't really interact with their people, or they just like it. I know Lauren talked about that a few team calls ago about just liking somebody's post. Whether it's a clean eating group, 3-day refresh group, a challenge group, whether it's in the app or it's on Facebook, please do not just like a comment. Unless I have somebody who posts like 75 times in a row, even then I still try to comment on every post. I don't care if it's the smallest thing. Just put some emojis up there. Like, do something where you're commenting on it and try to, increase that interaction. If ever, now with the challenge group, the downside I feel like of having I still love the challenge group app, but some new thing that I thought of with Facebook, if somebody comments on something and then you comment on it, you'll get a notification that says like, oh, so-and-so also commented. With a challenge group app, it doesn't say that. So I feel like there's not as much interaction between people, unless, like, right now I have a challenge group that's going really, really well and everyone's interacting and commenting to each other. So what I'm doing now is if I happen to see someone else comment on someone else's thing, I will reply to both of them. So they both get a notification, just so that maybe to hopefully increase the interaction. I'm always trying to increase interaction. And again, look through my, and if any of you guys aren't in my team page, I can't add you to my team page unless you're in my downline. But if you are interested in seeing kind of how my challenge group works, again, if you're watching the recording or on this call, let me know. I'll send you the link. I'm all about sharing is caring. I don't care about doing that. But you can see kind of how my weekly themes, I feel like, have changed a whole lot. What else? So that's really about it. You really just have the way to turn challengers into coaches. One is to just make them fall in love with the process of a challenge group. Most people who do that, they just love the whole process. They love the energy and the positive vibe. If they're in a challenge group and you're not giving, you don't have to know everything about clean eating, but if you have to just, put some effort and time into interacting with the coaches, they're going to love that energy. They're going to want to be a part of it, whether it's just as a discount coach and they're still a part of the energy, or they're working the business. And then the second part of that is making sure when you have a process to, like my process is when somebody buys a challenge pack, I set a reminder to check in with them 7 days before their Shakeology ships in Google Street. And then, so the week before the Shakeology ships, I send them a message and I say, hey, and if it's somebody who is really working, like really good in the challenge group, they're posting, they're commenting on other people's stuff, I have a separate message that says, hey, just wanted to let you know you are killing it in the challenge group. You're doing an amazing job. Like, I love what you're doing. Have you ever thought of being a coach? Because I would love to have you on my team, or whatever you want to word it. And then I say, your Shakeology is going to ship on the 29th. You can be getting Shakeology for $97 instead of $130. Like, I have a specific message for that. And then I have another message that is for people who were kind of active, but not super active, maybe a little bit shy. It just says, hey, wanted to let you know your Shakeology ships on this date, blah, blah, blah. Wanted to let you know you could be a discount coach or a preferred customer if you'd rather, because people sometimes hear the word coach and they're like, I don't want to coach anybody. And then I say you have zero, in big letters, zero responsibility to coach anyone. You don't have to coach anybody. You don't have to do anything like that. I have tons of people that just want a discount on Shakeology and don't want to sell anything. So I do that. So you want to make sure your process of asking, do you want to be a coach, or do you want to be a discount coach, or anything like that, is also good. You don't want to just be like, hey, your Shakeology about to ship. Do you want to sign up? You kind of have to word it, a little bit better. And if you want to, message me about that, you can do that too. Another thing, I'm too afraid to send invites. Do you work on personal development? Because that is key. And do you just practice and get over the fear? Because if anything in this business, if you have a fear of doing something, the only way to get over it is one more thing, working on personal development. And the biggest thing is just going for it. And I know it's hard. It's like, well, I'm scared, but I don't want to do it. But you kind of just, I always say, if that's what you're scared of, if you have new coaches that feel this way, because you're going to hear that all the time as you start adding coaches to your team, just tell them, you want to make sure that they're building a contact or building relationship with the people and all that stuff, so they're not just inviting strangers. But once they do, tell them to pick 10, 20 people and start with a clean eating group, because once you practice inviting to a clean eating group, you'll get up to all the other stuff. But tell them to pick 10 to 20 people, and then, figure out wherever they're inviting them, should be on Facebook, and then tell them to have them, the message, copy and paste it, or if it's a voice message, whatever it is, and then just send it, close your phone, close your computer, and just run away. That's the best. It's like immersion therapy. It's like you just have to go for it and do it. So if you're afraid of invites, I suggest that in the month of December, you just do that. Whenever you're sending invites, if it really just freaks you out, just pick the people, so you're not like, you have to pick somebody off the list, send the invite. Pick somebody that pick the whole list. Literally just, you could open 8, 10 different tabs if you wanted to, and just copy, paste, hurry up, paste it, send it, run away, and then just come back to it later. Because once it's there, you have to deal with it. You have to answer the people. But that's going to help you just get over it. There's nothing when somebody says, how do I get over the fear of inviting? That's how you get over it. There's only two more things. Yes. So 9th thing, I feel like I'm lost. Whatever it is in the business or anything like that. Have you done the team triceps training? I have so many new coaches that don't do the training. It's there, guys. It's there for you. You're supposed to go through it. If you're a new coach and you've been a coach for a month and you haven't gone through the triceps training, you should not be asking any questions. Should be doing, not that you can't be asking questions, I don't want to say that, but you have to do the training, because it's just going to help you have new questions. It's going to help you figure things out and then be confused by something, which is okay. When you're learning, you want to be confused by something, so then you can message your coach. listen, I'm telling you, and you're going to learn this once you start having coaches. If you're somebody who doesn't have coaches, we want our coaches to message us with questions because it means that they're progressing. If I have a coach that doesn't message me for like a month and a half and I'm like, oh my gosh, this person, like, are they learning? Like, I don't know. Like, I want you guys to message me. So make sure you've gone through the training. Are you on team calls? If you're saying you feel like you're lost and you don't know what to do, but you're not on team calls or you're not watching the recording, that answers it there. Like, we don't move any further. You have to be doing those things. And if your excuse is I can't be on team calls because I have work, then watch the recording. I message people all the time. I ask them, oh, that's okay. You weren't on team call. No problem. Did you watch the recording? No, a lot of you guys do watch the recording, and I really appreciate that you do. Like, it means the world to me when I hear somebody messages me and they're like, I watched team call. I have a question or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Because I feel like it's not all at a waste. And then of course I appreciate all you guys that are on live. And do you watch old calls? And this is for coaches. I don't care if you've been a coach for a year. You guys know I have coaches dating back to 2 summits ago. That's when I started doing my first team call was in 2015 in like June or July. There's tons of amazing information in there. Like, if you like, because all my team calls now, I'm not going to ever really reteach team calls. Occasionally I might kind of revamp it, but I'm never going to really reteach team calls. So there's probably lots more helpful, like, especially if you're a new coach, there's probably way more helpful information in those older calls than there is now. So please, like, if you're just like, let's say you go through the team triceps training, you're like, all right, I'm done. Then what I want your goal to be in December and January and February, because it's obviously going to take you a little bit of time, is to once a day. I mean, once a day would be great. Maybe once every few days so you can kind of absorb the information. Every week, maybe watch 2 old team calls and start from the beginning. Start from the library. They're all in there in the team call recordings. Rewatch them, and I promise you, if you watched all the team calls, like, you would have so much more information in your brain to help you out. And again, don't let the notes be notes on a piece of paper. Actually go out and implement. And the last thing, I need accountability. That's a big thing for people. They're like, I want to do this, but I just need somebody. I just had a one-on-one with somebody yesterday, and they said, my biggest thing is I just need someone calling me on my shit. I know I want to do this, but like, I need that. And you want to get to a point where you don't need that anymore. Like, usually, like, by the time you're like a 2-star diamond or close to a 2-star diamond, you want to be calling yourself out on your own shit. You still always need that. Like, I have Josh, he's my mentor. But in the beginning, it's okay to need that. So do you have a success partner? And you don't have to have one, but it's good to try to keep an eye out. That's why it's good to be on team calls. It's good to be on the team page because you can see other people, interact with other people, and get to know the team. So try to find, even if it's not necessarily your official success partner, just find somebody on the team or post it in the team page. Say, hey, I really want to do this. I want to make this work, but I need somebody that we can just text each other back and forth and just, do a checklist or something where you're having some kind of accountability. Do you use the team checklist? It is in the files tab of the team page. There's literally a new coach checklist and a go-getter checklist. Use one of those checklists and use it every single week. It's done every week. If I have a coach that tells me I don't know what to do every day, I will give them that checklist because it has literally, it's just like the BAT, the business activity tracker. It has everything that you need. And do you check in with me? If you're a coach that feels like you need accountability, or do you want a check-in with me? I have certain coaches that told me they want me to check in with them every week, and boom, it goes off in my streak once a week. I message them, and whatever it is that they struggle with, if they struggle with invites or they struggle with posting on social media, if they struggle with their workouts, because I know that this journey is so much more than just the business side of it. I know that a lot of you guys probably aren't even working on your own self, and that's very important. So if it's something like that, please message me or message your coach. I can tell you now, I will speak for your coach. Your coach will not mind you telling them that they want you to check in with them once a week. That's a really good thing. So these are all questions that you want to make sure that you are asking yourself in this month and pick one of those things. If it's a few things, then you can kind of try to work on one at a time. But think of those things. Don't try to work on all of them all at once. Pick something, work on it, figure out some personal development for it, and get on top of it. And so this last little part, this shouldn't be too much longer. I hope this is helpful, guys. And this last little part is just, I'm going to give you an excuse that a lot of people are going to say during the holidays, and then an idea that I had. Now, these are just brainstorming ideas I did before, when I was creating this team call. If you guys have ideas, when I post the team call tomorrow, I would love if you gave me different ideas. That's fine. These are just the ideas that I have, but my brain is only so big or so small. So the holidays, you know, they're not an excuse. Like those of you guys who watched that call that are in that Josh group about how he was saying, you know, the holidays are not an excuse to, you know, completely slack off for the entire month of December. It is literally 2 days. You have New Year's, or 3 days. You have New Year's Eve, you have Christmas, and you have Christmas Eve. I know there's other stuff going on, but there's always a little bit of time to work your business. Samantha Boss did a live video, I think on the Team Builders page or on the Diamond page of Team Triceps. And she said something that was so true. Somebody asked, they were like, well, I don't have time to do a power hour. So like, I have kids, I have this, I have that, I have all these other things. She was like, so do I. I don't do a power hour. I do 5 minutes when I'm walking from my car to my house. I have 5 minutes when I'm on the toilet. I have 5 minutes when I do this, 5 minutes when I do that. And those 5 minutes get close to an hour. So she's like, I don't always have a full hour, but I don't let the fact that I only have 5 minutes or I only have 10 minutes let me not be able to do something. You can do that and just respond to somebody. That's why if you're using Google Streak or you're using some kind of tracking system, just because you respond to someone, when you go through your Google Streak or whatever, when you go to check in with their you know, their little box, you know, whether it be in Google Streak or whatever, you'll just be able to go to the message that you sent when you were like, you know, on the toilet and just update it. You know what I mean? So it's good to be using something like that. That is my number one thing I'm telling you right now. If 2017 comes and I have a one-on-one with you and you tell me that you're not using some kind of Google Streak or Asana, or but pen and paper does not count. If you're not using some kind of tracking system, I'm going to come through the computer and kiss you first, but then strangle you, but then love you again. That has to be something that you are doing. And if you're not, then I'm going to think that you're not taking me seriously and you're not taking the time seriously. So please make sure if you're not doing that, then make that your project for December. Okay. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 excuses that you can give. And I actually try to combine them between your business and you. So that might not make sense. But so an excuse you're going to hear, an excuse that you might say for yourself with the busyness of the holiday is that I don't have time to work out. Others feel that same way. So an idea that you can do to benefit you, to keep yourself accountable and to keep other people accountable, is to maybe do something like, again, these are just random ideas I have, but do something like a completely free, and all of these are free groups. And the reason, again, this is all about building relationships because, you know, maybe you're somebody who hasn't really been building a contact list or hasn't been doing all of this stuff. This is a great way to do that. You can hold like a free Facebook event where you go Facebook Live or you do Zoom and you guys work out together, or, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. You could go Facebook Live and like do it so you show your workout in the event page, and then people can comment and say like, I did my workout or something like that. You can do a post on Facebook and say, hey, I'm going to do, you know, a 3-week group up until, you know, to the 23rd or something like that, or whatever, or however you want to do it. Or maybe you only do 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, where you guys hold each other accountable, and you can be like, I'm going to do my workout at 8 a.m. You know, we can hop on Zoom together. You can do a Facebook Live, whatever you want to do. And then everybody can check in or find some way to do that. So it's holding you accountable, because focusing on your journey is important. So many coaches aren't focusing on themselves, and then they're wondering why their business is struggling and they haven't done a workout in a week. You know what I mean? It's really, really important. It's not about being perfect. It's not about necessarily wanting to do it every day, but use this business to drive you to do that. What did you say? I did 5 minutes of my workout live. That's awesome. See, that's really, 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 really awesome. I know. And the more you do that, like, and that could be something that you do all of 2017. You could be like, once a week, you're going to have like an accountability, a free workout accountability. So then maybe you can let people know, and maybe you could build a group where you add 5 new people, 10 new people every single month, and then more people add, and then it's boom. It's like your free monthly like workout accountability. And then by the end of the year, you have like 30 people working out together at the same time. Like, I don't know, these are just ideas, but it's something that you could do. And that would both give the people that you're working with and you accountability. It would also show that you can give value to people, because you're going to get ideas as you do it. I used to do groups like that in the beginning of my business where I'd have no idea what I was doing, but the more I did the group, I would get different ideas. People would give me ideas, and it was just really beneficial all around. Another excuse that you're going to hear: I don't have money. We hear it all the time. These are just a few different ideas. You could create a text message, Snapchat message, or Instagram story message, or whatever, because you can do group messages on Instagram now, create some kind of thread where you guys save a certain amount of money every time you do something like good. Every time you do a workout, you save $5 or $2 or $3, whatever. I mean, if you saved $5 a day for a month, you'd have $150. That covers a challenge pack, just saying. But you know, you could let them know, like if they say, oh, I can't afford, to do this or whatever it is, you could let them know that you're having like a money saving group for a bunch of people, and let them know that you're working on saving money for something too. And you guys, whatever it is, like it doesn't have to necessarily be working out. I mean, that would be really cool. But again, these are just like ideas in the air. But it could be like every time you clean your house. Like I know I could probably do that because sometimes I let 4 days go by and I don't clean my house. Productivity, read personal development, like something where you reward yourself with even just like $2 or $3 for doing something. You could brainstorm with them. I know if you're older and I know a lot of my team is younger and you're not necessarily married or have kids yet, but if you are somebody who has kids, you could do something where you get different ideas about doing like a potluck in your area. Like, again, even if you're not local to the other coaches, you could let them know to do it with other people. Like, how about this week we all try to get people in our local area to do a potluck where, we trade, food, or we drop it off at each other's houses. I know my success partner lives in a neighborhood where she's friends with like everybody. Again, this is just be local, telling them and giving them the idea, and then they do it. You could do like, and this is in order to save money. You could do something where you're carpooling with other families to drop your kids off, like whatever it is that you find out works for your group of people in your age group. Like think of those things. I can only think of so much because I don't really have kids. Whatever way to hold each other accountable. And then map out your goals. Have like a goal setting free group. You know what I mean? Like think of different ideas of something that you could do to help benefit other people. Because again, it's going to help you stay accountable, and it's going to just show that you can give people value. The third thing, it's the holidays and I can slack off, with my business or with eating or with workouts. So the holidays, again, are 3 days out of the month. 3 days. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on, but it's important to remember that it's not the entire month. And I know a lot of people are just like, screw it, I'm waiting for January, which some people, you're not going to be able to get them necessarily out of it. But just some things that you could do is you could get like a holiday partner. Like find someone, you could post on your social media. Again, this is a great way to build your contact list. Post on your social media that says, I'm looking for, a person or a group of people who really struggle with being like, I want to work out during the holidays, because everybody kind of just wants to say, screw it. And you can say, I feel that way too, but I want to find some people that want to kind of stay accountable to each other. And again, just do like a text message thing where you're like, okay, everybody in this text message thread, we're just going to text each other and be like, I just worked out, and everybody checks in. And by the end of the day, if there's like one person not checking in, you guys can be like, hey, Jessica, did you do your workout? And they'll know that that's kind of the vibe of the group. You could do something like that. You could send pictures of your meals, just to be like, this is what I ate. So you're not posting that, like I ate McDonald's, and let them know too. I think this is always important. And I try to let coaches know, you always want to make it known that it's still a safe place. So if you did eat crappy, let them know that it's okay to share that. Because a lot of times coaches won't share it, or people won't share it, and then they get nervous and then they freak out, and that's why people go MIA. So it's when you let people know that it is a safe place to do that. You could, post your goals on your mirror, whatever it is, and then give you, again, for the people who really don't want to do it, pick a gift or something that you're going to give yourself on January 1st if you check in like 20 days out of the month or something like that. Like whatever it is, if you wanted like a new pair of shoes, or you wanted the Kylie lip gloss shit, like whatever it is, I don't know. Like whatever it is that you want, like everybody picks their goals, and like you could like if somebody else's goal, you could like take a picture of it and like send it to them. Be like, oh, you didn't want to do your workout? Do you remember this was your gift? Like make it fun. Like figure out something that you can do to get everybody, excited for it. So those are just kind of my ideas for that. And if you're just somebody who doesn't have time, my biggest thing is just wake up a little bit earlier, go to bed later. I know it sucks to do that, but if you're somebody who really wants to make this business work, I wasn't getting a full 8 hours of sleep when I first was doing this business. Now I do, but I wasn't, because I knew that I had to work to get up to that point. And there's still some days where I don't do that. And then the last one is if you're like, I hate myself, I'm fat, self-loathing, anything where you're just like, really depressed or you're down on yourself, if that's like, I hate calling that an excuse because I know what it feels like to be depressed and all of that stuff. I had eating disorders. I was all of that. So I'm not like saying it's an excuse, but you know what I mean? So you could, again, create a free group, a Snapchat thread or a text message thread where every morning you send, everybody has to, and if you have 8 people, like everybody has to do it. You send 3 things that you're grateful for, because being grateful is very important. I do that with my boyfriend. We wake up in the morning and we say 3 things that we're grateful for every morning, because it's really hard to be pissed off the world when you're like, wait, I have like some kind of awesome things to be excited about. You could send 3 things that you're grateful for and then 3 things that you love about yourself. To force someone to do that, or I mean, they're probably going to feel like they're being forced because it's hard when you feel like you don't love yourself. But to get someone every morning to start off their morning saying the 3 things that they're grateful for and 3 things that they love about themselves can go a really long way. And if you're the one that put them in this group and help them to figure out that they can do that, how freaking awesome is that going to be? I mean, even when I was coming up with that idea, I was like, that might be a really, really good idea. So I suggest doing something like that, because they're going to just feel like, wait, I hated myself like a month ago, and not that they're all of a sudden going to be fixed, but you know what I mean? They might have just a little bit more positivity. So those are kind of all my ideas. I hope that that was helpful. I know this call went a little bit longer, so I'll let you guys go. If you guys have any questions, if you are watching the recording and you have any questions, feel free to message me. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Would you say? Yes, I used to do self-love groups every month, and we would read the book Women, Food, and God, and it always went really well. And every time I had that group, people always turned into coaches after that, because they would start seeing my posts. And not that like I was trying to use people who were vulnerable. I don't want it to make it seem like that. But I was doing that, and it was really, really good. So just do a free group where you guys work on like maybe meditation or just self-love, and read a personal development book. Like Women, Food, and God is really good. Deepak Chopra's book, What Are You Hungry For, is really good. There's a lot of really good like self-love books out there. I always have people read Mastering Your Mean Girl, but I do that for my challenge group. But anyway, but yeah, I definitely would do that. Well, the 2 books, Women, Food, and God is by Janine Roth. That book's not about religion. So if somebody hears the word God and they're not religious, it's okay. It's just kind of the name of the book. Then the other book is by Deepak Chopra. His name is... It's called What Are You Hungry For? And that works a lot with maybe women who just struggle with like healthy eating and stuff like that. It's a really, really good book. I only read it once, but I want to read it again. But those are some good books. But doing free, like all of you saw all these excuse things, all about free groups, because a lot of you guys during the holidays, it is, I'm not going to lie, it is hard to hear no. Now you can hear yes, you just have to talk to more people. That's the solution for it. If you ask me what the solution is talk to more people. That's why I invited 68 people to my challenge group, my clean eating group. So it is hard to hear yes. That doesn't mean you still shouldn't try, but having these free groups are really going to set you up for success. So those are my ideas. I hope it was helpful. Thank you guys so much for hopping on live, and I will talk to you later. Peace. See you guys.